Hi, and welcome to Vtuber Talks with Acapelisa. I'm here with Auvenil. Welcome, Avi.
Hello.
So, first things first, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, I'm a bat. I'm always bad at just tell me about yourself. Like, well, I'm here.
I'm alive.
Yeah. I'm a bat. I do music stuff on my stream, or like video games and stuff. My IRL counterpart has like a degree in audio, so I quote unquote know what I'm doing. And I use my knowledge for evil. Absolutely.
So, how did you come up with the name Auvenil?
Oh, so that's a good question. When I was around 6 years old, my parents didn't have a good relationship, and they ended up getting a divorce. And it was really hard for me and my parents. I went back and forth between them, and blah blah blah. And I grew up and like had trouble making friends, and I bounced around a couple different grade schools just from being so troubled. And then one day I thought of the name Auvenil and thought it was cool, so I wrote it down and used it later on.
Nice.
It has,
It's like a long story, and then just
yeah.
I wrote it down one day.
There's no backstory. I just thought of it and it sounded cool.
All right. Do you have a lore, and if so, could you tell us a little bit about it?
Not currently, actually. I am working on kind of a 2.0 model that will have more lore, but for now, I'm just a bat who likes making music. I'm very excited for the lore that will eventually happen. It's gonna be really really fun.
When did you start streaming?
I started streaming around like 2 years ago, I think. I just made myself a basic layout. I didn't have a webcam or anything, and I just started streaming music production. I think I played some video games. Was it this year? It was this year. I started doing VTuber stuff. I spent a couple months making assets for myself, and then and March 29th, I started doing VTuber stuff. But I was streaming for a little bit before that.
What made you want to start streaming and content creation?
Content creation, I count music as that, so that's a separate thing. But streaming, I think, was just I like feeling smart. So I always liked the idea that someone could watch my streams of me doing like music production, and then I could do something, and they're like, "Oh, hey, why'd you do that?" And I could like, "Oh, well, I'm glad you've asked." I can explain and stuff. And then for like playing video games, I always wanted to. I always like hanging out with people, like having a friend to hang out with or play a game or just do something. There were a lot of video games that I wanted to play and like have played through and experienced, but I didn't want to play through it by myself because I felt like the point of like playing a game or doing something fun is to be able to share with someone. So I started streaming to kind of just hang out with people. As far as content creation, I make music because it's fun. It's my hobby. I find it fun.
Do you like hope to, I mean, technically this is a later question, but do you hope to like grow with the music side of things? Like, do you have any specific goals for that side of stuff?
Yeah. I've actually gotten really far with a lot farther than I thought I would. I don't want to use the term networking because it sounds too professional, but like making other like music producers friends, and even recently I made friends with an artist who I liked from like years ago. Like he even like stopped making music for the longest time, like 4 or 5 years or so, and then came back recently, and then I ended up making friends with him through doing music stuff. So we hung out. I met him at a rave once, and before that, he had done like a new song, and I just took it and made like a lazy edit of it, and like posted a clip of it on Twitter, and I like tagged him in it, and he was like, "Oh, that's so cool!" And he like messaged me afterwards, like, "Hey, are you gonna finish this? I need this." And I was like, "Oh shoot, really? Yeah, I can finish it."
Oh, that's so cool.
So then shortly after that, there was a rave, like a music event that he was playing at. Jessa Odyssey and I went to it, and I recognized him in the crowd, and I was like, oh man, do I go say hello? Is he even gonna recognize what? Is he gonna care? And I was like, you know what? Today's the day. Today's the day I get over that. Today I'm gonna try it. What's the worst that could happen? So I went over there, and I was like, hey, you're this guy. I like your music. I'm a big fan of you. And then he's like, oh, cool. What's your name? And I'm like, oh, I'm Auvenil. And he goes, oh, you're off. Oh, it's you. And he gave me a big hug, and I was like, ah!
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, it was amazing. This was at like the beginning of the show, and he was going last. He was like starting at like 1 a.m.
Oh, wow.
But so like he's like, oh, it's you. Hey, yeah, you made me that thing. I'm playing it in my set tonight. And I was like,
fanboying over here.
Yeah, I was like, I even told him like, I'm like, I cannot believe I'm fanboying over my own thing. It was just super cool. Like like years ago, just kind of starting doing music stuff, I would have, he was someone I would have kind of had at a pedestal, and like, oh man, I want to meet him someday and like have him sign something. But now I kind of like, I can be like, oh hey, what's going on? How you doing? I like that. It's super cool. It's like, it's what I wanted to do.
What made you want to be a VTuber as opposed to using a face cam?
So I'm very shy. I'm not a huge fan of like my like physical appearance or like my own personality. It was mostly my personality. I felt like I kind of defensively was kind of like dry humor and sarcastic and kind of distant, and I didn't like it very much. So it was really difficult for me to just stop doing that, because I felt like people who knew me as that would be like, what are you doing? It's weird. So along with just seeing all like a bunch of different VTubers and thinking, oh, it looks really fun, I felt like being in character as like a different personality would help me practice being like how I want to be. It's not that I'm changing my personality, it's that I'm acting as someone else, and then I could practice being like that, and then slowly start
kind of being the person you want to be in a way.
Yeah, exactly. And it's worked really well, honestly. Like I'm much happier than I was, and I still struggle with it a bit, being defensive every so often. Like I have trouble being in an Odyssey server or in our chat, because I feel like people still know me there as kind of sarcasm. So I'm working on that. It's gone really well so far. I'm much happier now, I think.
So you have done a face reveal. How did it feel doing that?
Actually, once I took a picture I was happy with, which was like 20 of them.
Fair.
I wasn't too intimidated, because I don't like go out of my way to hide how I look, because I've been on Odyssey streams before, and when she uses a face cam, and I don't like show my face everywhere, but people could figure out what I look like. And also, it was in the middle of the controversial post was going around claiming that VTubers should stay in character all the time, and everyone backlashed with posting selfies.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? If this is the time, I want the dopamine. I want people to look at this picture and comment that I look nice. All right. This is my excuse. So I was like, you know what? No one looks like exactly how they think they want to. So I think I look funky because I keep looking at the mirror, and I'm like, oh, look at this tiny imperfection that no one's gonna notice.
Yeah.
People know, it's at the end of the day, it's a character. I have to be someone behind it. So
yeah, obviously,
here I am. If you really want to see it, then here's me. Like I was saying before, like it's become a lot easier to associate like who I wished I was and who I wanted to be with who I actually am. I've almost like had lots of practice, like being softer and more open, and I mean, I was gonna say less shy, but that hasn't helped. that hasn't changed.
How did you come up with your original character design?
It's really just by persona for now. So IRL, I volunteer at a lot of conventions, like fan conventions, lots of furry conventions. Well, actually just one because there was only one around where I lived. Everything else I had to travel to. But for like 5 years, I volunteered at this convention. This at FurCon. I volunteered at them so I can get in for free because it's like $60 for a badge. I'm like, I don't want to.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to. But I went to this furry convention for like 4, 5, 6. I couldn't think of a animal that I resonated with. And then finally it was 2020 because the convention was held in January. So the last one I did in 2020, I don't remember what it was, but something was like, that's a bat. Bats are nocturnal and I hate mornings. Right? So that's already pretty good. They can fly. Flying is cool. Wings are neat, They use
sonar.
Yes. What? Echolocation.
Echolocation. Yeah.
That one.
Yes.
They can hear really well. And I do music stuff. So hearing is vaguely important. And then also related, they have giant ears. I have my big
the floopy ears.
Yeah, the big floofy floppy ears. I love it's so cute. I love big ears. So it's like, you know what? There it is. Bat. I love it.
Done.
But, yeah. And also the little leaf nose. Little pointy nose thing. My inevitable 2.0 model would be very different. I'm looking forward to that. I have my good friend Geo Sormel is doing the character design with me. He's being a trooper because I insist on the on my cargo sweats, and he's like, that's such a bad character design. Please do something else. I'm like, no, I know you're the artist, but I need them.
I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to be the most happy with it if you're going to use it every time you stream. So totally,
yeah. I just feel bad that it'd be like someone asking me to make like a genre that I hate, and and I'm like, listen, I know I'm doing this for you, and I know that it's gonna be you, and like you got to be happy. I know that, but it doesn't change the fact that I hate this genre.
I mean, yeah, but the customer's always right.
Yeah.
Did you have any artists work on this model, or did you create it yourself?
So this was one of the only things in my stream I didn't make. The artist, I don't know if they have socials. They were actually a coworker of mine at the time. They were very generous to do it for free as like a side project. They were doing modeling for a project we were working on, and in his free time he would work on this model in Vroid. This is entirely Vroid. So he worked on it in Vroid. He learned how to use Blender. Only to like adjust the shape of the like the bottom of my pants, how they kind of concave inward at the bottom. I put his name in the credits of my in my Twitch stream, so if anyone wants to find him from there, I don't think I have a link. I don't think I have a link to him.
Too.
Yeah. I don't think there's a link to any of his socials. I don't know if he has any. He just wanted his name, and I was like, all right. But yeah, he was very generous. He did a very good job.
Do you have any preferences or restrictions on what art can be made of your OC?
Not particularly. I can't think of any. I haven't gotten art of my character yet, or of me yet, that I didn't commission. Okay. So I'm sure it'll be like, once I see an art that's like, oh,
hey, can you take
that'll be
down?
like, I've discovered a boundary.
Yes.
I don't think I would mind lewd stuff as much as like gory stuff, unless, if I'm the one doing the, like.
What if you're like murdering a piece of fruit?
Yeah, you know what? That's actually great.
Right?
I just have me with like a banana gun, right? And then like there's just a bunch of blood on the wall, but it's actually just cherry syrup. And there's a sundae.
I more thought like you have like a orange or something, and you're like biting it like a vampire bites like a neck, and then there's like orange, dark like
Yeah.
ready orange juice dripping down. That's what I'm picturing.
This is I need
Somebody
this now.
make
I need,
somebody make
yeah.
that.
So watch right now. You're watching this. Hey,
Do it, make it happen. Zoom
yeah,
in on your face. Okay, I'll zoom in on your face when I edit.
Yeah, in editing, yeah. Do this. Do that. But oh yeah, and also make my face really wide when you do that. I need to figure out a filter for OBS that'll make my face super wide when I press a hotkey.
Do you or your friends think that your voice matches your model?
I don't actually know. See, I know everyone suffers from this, but like I am not a fan of my own voice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, right? Like and like as much as I know everyone suffers from this, and even the scientific reason why, like even as much as I know that, I still hear my own voice and just like, if I've ever talked to you, I'm so sorry.
You just like cringe, feel super self-conscious and stuff. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever gotten any feedback on my model specifically. I like to think it does. I did. I can't. You can leave this in, by the way. I did get feedback from one of my friends.
Mm-hmm.
That after I posted my my face reveal, they gave me the feedback of like, after hearing your voice, I was surprised you didn't look like a twink.
Wait, what does that mean?
It's just like like small tiny little feminine boy, and I was like, well, I can't help it. I just sound like that.
When you do stream, do you manipulate your voice in any way?
I do. Like my own voice, I don't change too much. I'm talking in a tiny bit of a higher register right now, but that's just kind of how I want to practice talking in general.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like, I do have audio effects. I won't be able to get them to work right now because they only work through OBS filters.
Mm-hmm.
But I have 3 of them. I have an auto tune, a like pitch shifter thing, and then I have a giant reverb.
Nice.
There's a clip of my Twitter someone took where I do the thing of like I just like I'm about to like the beginning of a scream happens and then I just disappear,
Mm-hmm.
and then the reverb continues. Wait, hold on. Yeah.
What makes you keep wanting to stream to this very day?
I mean, I guess part of it's like habit. I want to keep up with it just so I can keep up with it. But I think a lot of it is like I've made so many friends. Able to meet one of the friends that I made through VTubing, able to meet them in person after knowing them for so long. Another friend I made, now one of my biggest like emotional supports through like moving and different like personal
Mm-hmm.
issues and stuff that was going on, and they were just really supportive and made me feel loved and special. But yeah, I think just it's I want to see what comes of it. I might not get on like Hololive or Vshoujo or whatever the other flavors are. But that doesn't mean I'm not successful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've made lots of friends. I've made lots of I have lots of cool people in my chat who hang out. I got to play even just like in the video games I've gotten to play that I wouldn't have played if I had known that I was just going to be playing them alone. Like I think Ace Combat was one of those games. Ace Combat 7. I played through the whole game, and it was fun. And I didn't feel like it was a total waste of time because I got to play with people watching and people hanging out, and I got to like talk to people and make jokes about things, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel a lot better about playing games. It makes me feel a little bit more justified spending that time doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But also just the on the other side of like the side of like doing music stuff, it feels very validating when someone comes in and like either likes what I'm doing or asks a question.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time, like thinking back on it, it really wasn't anything special, but just I enjoyed it so much. I don't remember who, but they just asked a question about like, why did I do this? Like, why did I do something this way? Or what does this mean? And I spent like a good 20 minutes just explaining it, because I love to explain things. I love to help people like learn about it. And I remember they were like, "Oh, sorry for derailing you. Sorry it took so long." And I was like, "No, listen, please
Yeah.
ask me stuff." because when I'm working on this, I'm just sitting here like staring at my screen, not saying anything. I feel like I'm boring. Please ask me things. It gives me something to interact with.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, anybody who's talking about anything in depth, that's how most of us feel, where it's like, go ahead, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Listening to people talk who know what they're talking about is always interesting. Like even someone can talk about like, all right, here's the history of like Coach scarves, and I'm like, yeah. Dude, I listen. I'm not retaining any of this information, but I need to know it. I need you to tell me it all.
What do you hope to achieve through your VTubing and streaming career?
Well, I think one half of it is I think it'd be really nice to if I could do it like full time. I know briefly I was kicking around the idea of trying to stream full time as soon as I was moved in, just because there was a job thing that came up, but it wouldn't happen for another month or so. And I was like, I wonder if I should try streaming full time, but I think I'm putting that idea on the back burner a bit for now.
Okay.
But I think being able to do it full time or even part time as a source of income will be kind of cool. But I think mostly I would enjoy it because what would come with that is like a more active chat, being able to be more active on like social media. I guess kind of having more of an incentive or like a reason to do more social media stuff and put more effort into it. Because like right now I'm so bad at it. I have trouble like thinking of what to post on. Yeah, I can barely handle having a Twitter. I can't imagine people who have like an Instagram and a YouTube or anything like that, and or like TikTok. Oh my goodness, like if I really should have a TikTok and like make them, but I have no idea what to make, and if I knew what to make, I wouldn't know how to make it.
Here's a tip: just edit your clips down. If there is anything, what is something or some things that you would like to change within the VTubing community or streamer community? Because you've kind of had experience with both.
The only thing I kind of wish didn't have to be a byproduct was like, you know, the bigger someone's stream gets, the less like personal they can be. Like I tend to prefer smaller streamers because I feel like I can interact with them better. I'll go to like my friend's stream and they have like 4 to 6 viewers, and someone will like donate like $5. I'm like, oh my goodness, thank you so much. You didn't have to. Oh, thank you so much. And then I'll go to like
the big ones.
I'll go to like a huge streamer who has like thousands of viewers, and they'll just be like, hey, thanks for the $5, and then go back to what they were doing.
Yeah,
you kidding me? That'd be amazing that'd be amazing if that happened to me.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like because if they spent energy like time and energy like genuinely thanking people, they'd be there all day.
Yeah, I think I noticed that with like bigger streamers when it comes to subs as well. They just have it like pop up on the screen and it thanks them in the words, and then it's like, okay. Or they have like the text to speech and it's like they react to that depending on what it is, but there's no real appreciation not all the time obviously, but some of the time.
I think I can think of like 2 off the top of my head streamers who have like triple digit viewers, who I feel like I can say something in, as long as chat doesn't move too fast, they'll see it and they'll like react to it like like in a normal way, as opposed to just, oh cool. But yeah, obviously, like, you know, it's just a byproduct of having a bigger audience. But I wish that they could like clone themselves and each take on like 10 viewers at a time and just interact with them. But yeah, I do like the more personal, more intimate streaming.
Do you have any special skills or talents?
Well, I can make music decently. Well, I mean, because of my college stuff, I can do like, you know, I know how to do music really well, but I can also do like live sound mixing. That's mostly what I do at conventions. Is I will do like panel rooms. I'll make sure the microphones don't kill everyone. I can also do like sound design for like video games or for videos or movies. I've done film scoring, which is basically music production, but instead of making a song to make a song, you make a song to like go with the video, which is a lot. It's a lot different. It's very very like technical almost. But yeah, lots of audio stuff. It's mostly I'd say mostly is what my main talent slash skill is. Yeah, other than that, I can, you know, like DJing, like live performance kind of thing. I'm like vaguely familiar with how to use like After Effects. Like I made my own my own animated background for my stream. I made my own stinger transition. I'm kind of familiar with that, but I wouldn't call myself like an expert of it. But yeah, I like doing music stuff. It's my favorite. I think that's I think that's the one thing that I can say like, yeah, I'm that guy.
What are your favorite animals?
I want you to look at me and take a guess. You viewer,
Oh.
you. I want zoom in on me, by the way. I want you to look at me. I want you to look at okay.
You're gonna say something really left field now, aren't you?
All right. I want you to look at me, viewer. I want you to look at me and guess, and I want you to understand my favorite animal. That's right. It's a grape.
Wait, that's not even an animal. That's freaking brilliant.
You can tell by my purple hair that I am indeed a grape. Yeah. For real though, bats are pretty cool.
Give me a second. Okay, I'm good. Okay. What got you into gaming?
Oh my goodness, that was a long time ago. I think just watching like cousins or playing video games, and they were having a good time, and they seemed really cool. And I always just was so fascinated by how many there were. You know, there's driving games and shooting games and sports games and adventure games, and they were all so cool. And it felt like, you know, like, oh man, I wish I could, you know, fly and do kung fu with a staff that's on fire, you know. And like, oh cool, I found this video game, flying fire monk dude guy. Like, oh cool, there it is. Or like, oh man, that's yeah. Or like my driving games, I like, oh cool, I bet these cars are so cool. I can't afford them though, because, you know, they cost so much money. I have my regular car, you know. Then I go play Need for Speed or something, like, oh yes, street racing. And also you know, if I crash the car in the video game, I can just, you know, restart.
Respawn, yeah. I don't actually get hurt in real life.
Yeah.
What genre or types of games or specific games do you like to play right now?
I think in general, games that don't have really involve storylines, because like games with storylines make me feel like I have to keep playing, you know, or otherwise I'll like forget something, or like I'll miss something, or I'll need to look up like which is ironic because my favorite series is Kingdom Hearts, and I think that's where I got that from. Like, oh yes, Kingdom Hearts 1, you know, I'll pay attention. You know, I probably won't need to remember this tiny specific detail in like 11 years, and then Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out and it's like, hey, remember this pixel in this cutscene? Like, no, in fact I don't. But yeah, I think games that are easy for me to pick up and put down, like a Hades is a really good one. I had a lot of fun with that because, you know, there is a story, but the gameplay is just it's a roguelike. So you start and you get as far as you can, and even if you die or even if you win, you reset and you just do it again, and it changes.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Hades.
Oh yeah, it's really good. It's really good. The story is good. All the characters are good, but the gameplay is really fun, and there's like 6 different weapons, and each weapon has like 4 different things you can do with it. It feels like, and then, you know, you start the thing and there's, you know, like you get a total of like 4 out of 12 different kind of type of upgrades you can get. And it feels like everything, every time you do it, it's like brand new. Like you're not gonna get another one of the same one. I like it a lot.
Do you watch any anime, and if so, what are your favorites?
This is the rule of thumb that I give people, is that if it's a movie, a TV show, or an anime, then I haven't seen it.
Okay. So skip that question.
Yeah. Well, and like the reason is there's a couple of reasons. Like,
Mhm.
it's kind of the same reason I tend to avoid like story driven games, is because if I start a movie, or especially like a TV show or an anime, if I start it, I will need to finish it.
Oh yeah.
Like, I need to.
Binge
I
watching
can't
is the
just,
best though.
yeah. Like, I need to know what happens, and like
Yeah.
less so with a movie because it's all in one sitting. But yeah, like especially with TV shows leaving off at cliffhangers, like it
Mhm.
works. I need to know what happens.
I feel that.
Yeah, but also the other reason is because like, gosh, I mean, like especially with anime, there'll be so many like emotional moments, like
Mhm.
I guess depending on the anime, but like people dying, or like like a breakup or something, like emotional ups and downs, and I am of the opinion that I enjoy not being sad. So
Fair.
so so like I have other videos that I can watch that is just the funny parts. It's just entertaining.
Mhm.
Like, or not entertaining. It's just like
The
fun.
good feels. Yeah.
Yeah. Like obviously it's probably a very uncommon opinion, I because of how popular like just anime in general is, and TV shows and movies, and going along with these characters, and like their character arc, and seeing how they develop and things, and blah blah blah. And as much as I know it's a thing lots of people enjoy, I'm like, you know what? There are sad parts. There have to be sad parts
Mhm.
for it to be a story, right? I'm okay without them. I'm gonna cheat. You know what my
Why?
favorite quote unquote anime is?
Okay.
Sword Art Online abridged.
Okay.
It's because I think a long time ago, when I was in high school, I watched the Sword Art Online series. I think just the first one, the first series. But I was like, oh, okay, cool, anime. And then I watched the abridged, the first few episodes of the abridged one. Like, this is infinitely better.
When you're feeling low, unmotivated, or like you aren't where you want to be at in your career, what do you do to bring yourself up out of that and to motivate yourself?
There was one instance I can think of where it was right when the Hololive
Mhm.
people were debuting, and there was a remix contest for Calliope's "Excuse Me, but Rip" or something. I forget what it's called. It's a really long name. And I entered that, and it was very stressful. My project was very unorganized. So like trying to work on it after, like working on it and then closing it and then working on it the next day,
Mhm.
when I'm trying to remember what I was working on and what I was thinking, was very difficult. And having a deadline, and also the fact that it would be competing. So
Mhm.
you know they would try to think of like what's worse than this one and what's better than this one. I ended up making something I was decently proud of, but the whole like mood of the whole thing overall kind of put me in a funk of like not feeling like I was making the kind of stuff that I wanted to, and that I wasn't, especially because it was a contest. So
Mhm.
obviously I didn't win. So that made me feel like not good enough. Like, oh, I spent all this time doing music, and I have this college degree or whatever, and I didn't even place or whatever.
Mhm.
And kind of it put me in a funk. So I spent a little while like making like personal music projects that I went out of my way to avoid like following certain rules that I could think of, like, oh, this song has to have like a guitar, for example, or this kind of song has to have this kind of thing. I think there's two of them.
Mhm.
I made two songs that I went out of my way to just like, what do I want in here? Like, it doesn't matter what someone else would make. Like, what do I want to add? And they ended up being two of my favorite things I've made. I don't know if I have a general answer of what I do when I'm feeling down, but that particular instance of just kind of stepping back and be like, all right, what do I want to do? What do I want to get out of this?
Mhm.
And like, I think that worked too with thinking of kind of what I want out of streaming. Like, if you asked me kind of when I started, it would have been to say, oh, to be a full-time streamer and have a bunch of fans and have like fan art made and stuff like that. I think I'm that'd be cool to have like a bunch of fans and have like people drawing fan art of me and stuff like that. I think that'd be cool, but I could be happier without that, as long as I can keep making and having friends who like also do VTubing, or even who don't do VTubing, I guess. But a lot of the friends that I've made have been other VTubers. Yeah, just kind of making sure that I know what I want, and seeing how far I've come, like especially with the music thing. I can remember a time when that one musician that I liked was, it's like, oh man, I love them. I wish I could meet them someday. And cut fast forward to like only like a few weeks ago, and I'm hanging out with them at a music show, and showing them my music and sharing with them, and they recognize me, and that was just it felt like it validated my entire efforts and everything.
Are there any hardships or hard lessons that you've learnt since becoming a VTuber/streamer?
And related to the last story, I don't do remix contests anymore for my own sanity. Like being a VTuber, and especially like in relation to the face reveal we were talking about earlier, it's made me much more aware of how permanent something is once it is on the internet. And it also reminds me of a news story. I forget what celebrity it was, but it was something like there were aerial photos taken of some like hills, like beachside area or property, where some celebrity's house was pictured, and like they made it public that they wanted the picture taken down. Like they didn't, and like they made this big whole thing about like, don't take down the picture, I don't want anyone to see this picture. And so therefore everyone on the internet started downloading the pictures.
Obviously, yes.
Yeah, of course. Meanwhile, it was figured out later on that like before that celebrity like made a big stink about taking down the pictures, before they did that, the only downloads the picture had were like there were like six people downloaded the pictures, and those 6 people were that person's lawyers. so like no one cared.
Yeah.
If they had just like not made a big deal about it, nothing would have happened. So I think that's why I was so like, I was pretty okay with like posting a face reveal, because it's like I would like to get to a point where I can do live, like in-person music shows. So that would obviously, I would show up as
as
IRL
yourself,
me. Yeah. So it's inevitable pretty much that people would figure out who I am. But I figure like, if I don't make a big, like if I don't challenge people to figure it out, then no one will make a big deal out of it. But yeah, it's made me. It's also why I'm kind of towing the line currently towing the line a bit between family friendly and or rather say so and non say so. My sense of humor is very, very not say so, but remaining like say so and family friendly would mean that I could interact with other family friendly streamers and VTubers, but that also would mean that I would have to kind of watch who else I interact with who isn't family friendly. So I feel like I'm gonna end up leaning toward the not lewd, but the unsay so part of it. But yeah, just kind of the I've become very aware. There are things that like once it's up, once you cross the line, there is no going back. It exists on the internet. Like if I make a joke, then if I make it once, it's there. Like
was that
it's
a beep beep joke?
yeah. Other than that, I think just it took me a while to remove the little counter that shows me how many people are watching, just because that really only served to ruin my mood. Like, oh, look at, there aren't as many people as last time, or the amount of sadness I got from there being fewer people than last time was much more frequent than happiness that there were more people than usual. Especially because it doesn't matter how many people are watching. I always felt better if there were people chatting. I think the hardest part was getting used to being a VTuber for my own, as like a hobby and for my own happiness, rather than thinking that if I'm not on like VShojo Hololive levels of production value and audience, then I'm not good enough. That's also why I spent so much time making assets. I made my own like animated backgrounds and my window outlines and my stinger transition, because oh shoot, all the big important streamers have those, and like, well, and then afterwards I realized like, well, you know what, actually some of my favorite streamers, like my other friends who are streamers, some of my favorite streamers have a PNG and their capture, and that's it. So you know what, maybe I don't need, maybe it's not important. But it took me a while to kind of realize that and fully feel that way.
How would you describe your streams?
I say like comfy chaotic. Like I like being comfy, warm and soft and welcoming, but I also reserve the right to scream about something if I need to.
To rage, yes.
Yeah.
So would you also classify it as like music / variety, or?
Yeah, you know, like I would say one half of what I do is like music production, and the other half is variety. Like sometimes I do video games. Sometimes I'll do a video game that like I'm going through the story, or other times I'll just do a video game like oh, you know, I feel like playing like a Marble Blast or something. And then other times I'll do like just chatting streams. For a while I was doing just chatting streams where I was teaching myself sign language.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I intended to use my Leap Motion controller to like do the signs as I was learning them.
It doesn't quite pick it all up.
Yeah, it doesn't work very well. So I turned that off, and just kind of did them to myself. But yeah, learning sign language was something I've wanted to do for years now. So I figured, you know what? I mean, this is the same reason I play video games that I want to play, is to with other, like on stream, is to experience them with other people. So if I'm doing it with someone else, with people hanging out, I feel like it's less of a waste of time, or not that, but like I feel like it's a better use of my time if I'm learning something but also hanging out with people at the same time.
Ending question: what are your socials for the ladies and gentlemen at home?
My Twitter and my Twitch account. The two important ones, I guess, are just at Auvenil, AUVENIL. Those are my important ones. I also have, if you really pecking want to, my SoundCloud and my Bandcamp are the same.
This was Vtuber Talks with Acapelisa. Thank you, Avi, for joining me.
Thank you for having me. Hope everyone out there is having a good day. And
I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.
I didn't do my intro. I wasn't even recording. We were just chilling, man.
We're just hanging out,
chilling like villains.
We're getting the small talk out of the way, so the interview could be the serious questions.
True. So, how's that weather over there? I prefer the cold over
yeah,
heat.
right. Because you can put on more clothing.
You can't do anything when you're hot. It's just like
when you're
AC
hot, it's
question mark, fan, hopefully.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Like, are you too hot? Oh, just, you know, take off your jacket. Oh, you're not wearing a jacket? Take off your shirt. You already did that? Well, you heckin' lock.
Yeah, see, I can't do the second last one of that. That's kind of frowned upon.
Yeah.
Wow. It's gonna be interesting, like later on, especially like the next generation or the one after that, when they're like studying our lives, and it's like, what the hell, this is weird. This is just weird. Why are you studying us? Like, are we that much in the past? Come on.
Yeah. Teacher, can we skip this part? I don't like it.
Yeah. It's my you know how like people now would like bring their grandparents who were in the war into school?
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine them bringing us into school, being like, they lived through the pandemic. Look, my very own grandparent.
Like, back in my day, we had to wear masks and we had to wash our hands all the time, and you kids and your
we had to social distance. We couldn't see our friends for on and off for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Walking in with our little canes.
Yeah. Other than the this can my phone not do that?
Don't do blended Happy Meal. Don't do it.
What? Oh dear. Oh boy. That's
Don't do it.
Those are solemn words, Lisa. Is it spoken from experience?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Or like other hacking door again. No one asked about t-shirts. The answer is no.
Okay. Do you mean like merch or like is that a
yes,
website?
merch.
Oh, okay.
That it doesn't exist. No one looked for it. No one asked. And I see you typing. There's like a handful of people who would just immediately paste the link in the no one do that. If
This is gonna be in the
I've said
description
too
now.
much.
No, I'm kidding.
No!
I'm kidding. I won't.